Hi class, my name is Dr. Boyle and I will be your professor for Math 171, Statistical Decision Making. I'm very sorry that I couldn't be with you in person this week. I had a conference to go to and my absence was unavoidable. So thank you for watching this video to learn a little bit more about the course you'll be taking this semester. I've started off by logging into our homepage on Canvas. If you're watching this video, I know you can get here. I will continue to post important files, important links, important notes to this page, so check back on Canvas often throughout the semester for those details. I did want to go over some things on the syllabus with you in this video. You can print the syllabus off if you want to, but the digital copy will be available for the entirety of the semester, and you can refer back to it as needed. The syllabus starts off with some contact information for me. My email is especially important this week since I'm not there in person. I am very responsive via email, so if you have any questions or concerns, please don't hesitate to shoot me an email and I can answer your questions or help point you in the right direction. This class is, as I said, statistical decision making. Some topics that we'll cover this semester include graphical displays of data, measures of central tendency and variability, sampling distributions, etc. Special emphasis is placed on the proper use and interpretation of stats in real-life situations. Our course objectives are plenty. We have a lot to cover this semester, so I'll let you read through those to know what to expect. This course is part of the Civite core curriculum, so we have some objectives to meet there as well. You will be engaging in creative inquiry, and I'll try and help you cultivate curiosity. You'll develop foundational knowledge and skills in statistics, so how to communicate, study, and read statistics. And the important piece of the core curriculum requirements is that you will be creating and delivering writing appropriate to audience, purpose, and context. So you'll be assigned several writing-infused assignments throughout the semester. Those will be in the form mostly of statistical reports that you will write up. You will also be asked some open-ended questions on quizzes and tests, and all of these writing-infused components will comprise 15% of your final grade. This is also a quantitative reasoning course, and so when you write your reports, they'll follow this kind of four-part structure. We'll start by formulating a question or issue using appropriate statistical terms, and you'll be explaining the decision process behind the choices made in the formulation of your question. Then you'll use statistical methods to gather and analyze data, and again, you'll be justifying the methods you chose. Then you'll want to determine the reasonableness of your answer, and evaluate the explanations of data for reasonableness. And another piece here is understanding the limitations behind the methods that you used. And finally, you'll want to interpret the results of your statistical analysis and present the interpretation in a context appropriate for a broader audience. So, like I said, your reports will follow this four-part structure. I'll give you more details as the semester continues, but this is a key component in the course this semester, so it should always kind of be in the back of your mind when we talk through problems. The textbook is called Statistics by Learning Objective, and you will access this textbook via WebAssign. If you've never used WebAssign before, you should go to the bookstore and purchase an access code. Once you have gotten access, I have at the very back of the syllabus details about how you can enroll in WebAssign. So this is on the very back page of the syllabus. It talks you through step 1, 2, 3, how to make sure you're registering in the right course. All of you will need this class key. So step 1 is purchasing an access code that will allow you to access WebAssign for the semester. And part 2 is getting this class key, which gives you access to my class, which is Math 171. So again, just keep this page handy and make sure you're registering for the class. You should do that immediately. Like as soon as the video ends, go purchase access to WebAssign because each of you will need it. All right. The other thing that's required besides WebAssign is a calculator. We will use that calculator all the time, pretty much every day, and calculators cannot be shared on quizzes or tests. So it's really important that each of you has access to your own calculator. There's some information here about calculator rental if that's something you're interested in. Attendance. You are expected to attend every class. I will be taking attendance. You're expected to arrive on time and also stay until the end of class. It's a big distraction to me when students walk in, let's say 5 minutes early, and it's also a really big distraction when people start to pack up like 5 minutes early. So just make sure you are present at the start and you stay until the end of class. And I do expect you to be truly present in class each time you show up. So what that means is cell phones, music, laptops, all of those electronics should be put away. Probably my biggest personal pet peeve as a teacher is students who sit in lecture with an earbud in their ear. Not only is it a distraction to me because I can see you doing it, but even if you think you can multitask in that way, you're just not being as effective as a student as you could be. So I'm going to require that you put those things away as well. You will receive a course grade of an F if the total number of excused and unexcused absences exceeds 25% of our scheduled class times. That's just policy. And another important note is that since class time is limited, I only get you for 50 minutes 3 times a week. I cannot possibly cover every type of problem and example in all of statistics. So I'll be choosing the problems that I think are the most illustrative and the most interesting, but in bold here, class attendance is not a substitute for reading the text. There are lots of examples and problems worked out in detail in the textbook, and that should be a really good resource for you throughout the semester. Your grades. Your homework will constitute 10% of your final grade, and those homework assignments will come to you via WebAssign. I will be posting a homework set after each section of the material that we cover. And once that section ends, the homework set will usually be due by 8 a.m. on the Monday of the following week. But it is up to you to keep track of those homework assignments. It takes a bit of independence here because you're not actually turning the physical copy into me. You have to submit the homework by the deadline online. The goal of this homework is to help you learn the material. So I do encourage you to work together with your classmates. You should start the assignments early and come to my office hours if you have questions. Just because I give you a week doesn't mean I expect you to wait until Sunday evening to begin the homework. That's actually worst practice. The best practice would be to start the homework as soon as we cover the material in class and work on it throughout the week so that you have time to make sure you're really understanding everything. I will not extend homework deadlines, period. Quizzes. Quizzes will constitute 10% of your final grade as well, and I'll give those periodically. I'll give you a day or two's notice so that you know to expect them. And these quizzes will be based on your homework assignments. Basically, when you're doing your homework, you have a week or more to complete the problems. Lots of them are multiple choice. You'll have access to your notes. You'll be able to work together. You'll have Google. There's lots of ways you can keep a high homework average, and I want you to keep a high homework average. But just because that homework average is high doesn't mean you're necessarily mastering the topics that we've covered in class. So the quizzes are just an extra check to make sure you're really learning the material before we get into a high stakes test situation. The writing assignments, which I mentioned earlier, will be 15% of your final grade. And the purpose of these assignments is to develop your statistical communication and writing skills. They will be in a report style format, and they will be required to be typed. Some of the reports will be individual assignments, and some of the reports will be group assignments. And at least one of those writing assignments will have a revision process. So I'll allow you to take my feedback, revise, and resubmit that assignment. There will be 2 tests. Each test will be 20% of your final grade, and the final exam will be 25% of your final grade. The important thing for tests is that you cannot miss a scheduled test unless you have some university approved absence. So if you're on a sports team and you have a game that day, I need that documentation as soon as possible. And if it's an emergency absence, you need to provide me documentation. Otherwise, I will not be giving makeup exams or tests. The grading policy is a standard plus-minus grading scale, and the rest of the syllabus here just covers your academic support services, accommodations. So I'll let you explore these links and read through these sections if you feel like you might need that extra support this semester. I also have a tentative class schedule, so you know kind of what to expect each week, what topics we're covering. The other important thing, I have the weeks of the 2 tests that we'll have. The first test will be kind of like a midterm. It'll happen about halfway through the course, and the second test will happen near the end of the course, just leaving a few days at the end for review for the final exam. The final exam will be cumulative and cover all of the topics for the entire course. So this is a good thing to maybe print out and keep in that little like plastic part of your binder, but not necessary. And then, as I mentioned before, the last page of the syllabus just covers how to enroll in WebAssign. So I know that was a lot. You should read through that syllabus in detail on your own time. And your 2 things that I need you to do this week, I'll cover them in the other introduction videos that I've posted, but you have a Math 171 introduction survey. This survey is just kind of a get to know you thing. There's like 10 questions, I think. Go ahead and get that done. It's due before the start of our next class, which is Wednesday, January 23rd. But I would just go ahead as soon as this video ends and do it. It will count as your first quiz grade. So it's 5 points. Just completing it ensures you get a 100 for your first quiz grade. The second one is a survey for statistics. This survey is completed by every single stats student this semester, which will give us a huge data set to pull from, and we'll pull from that set for class examples, for projects. So the responses you give for this test are anonymous. I will get credit, or you will get credit for completing it, but I will not know which responses came from which student. So feel free to answer them honestly, and let me know if you have any questions. So I will see you in class next Wednesday, January 23rd. Best of luck.